What's up, you guys? It's Steve here, and we have an update for you on the path forward with stimulus and Build Back Better. And this is your Build Back Better and stimulus check update. Now, as you guys know, yesterday I reported to you that President Joe Biden had a meeting with top CEOs, 10 of them, discussing support for the Build Back Better stimulus reconciliation bill. Now, also, after that, I have an interview for you that we're going to be taking a look at as AOC responds to the path forward for this bill and getting this legislation taken care of. And she discusses Joe Manchin, Kirsten Sinema, and everything that they need to do to push forward. And also, she answers the question, has President Joe Biden gone too far left? To which she responds, no. Now, as you guys know, that's because progressives like AOC, they had originally called for this bill to be $10 trillion in spending, $6 trillion, $7 trillion. We had seen calls for reoccurring monthly stimulus checks, not just a fourth check, but monthly checks going out to Americans across the nation. They also wanted to see federal unemployment extensions. Remember those PUA, FPUC boosts? They wanted to see all of those extended out even further, and they wanted to have additional child tax credits, tons of provisions introduced to help out people throughout the course of this pandemic. However, moderate Democrats said that's too much spending. We're concerned about the nation's debt and inflation. We need to hit the brakes. And that has stalled out. Those requests for $6-7 trillion in spending went down to $3 trillion, then down to almost $2 trillion. And now we're going to see this likely shrink down even further. And we're going to be hearing more about the development of this bill in the coming weeks. I'll keep you up to date. But let's take a look at what AOC had to say on this so that way you can hear the path forward and her perspective on stimulus and Build Back Better. Now, before we dive in, though, also wanted to mention thank you for all the support on the second channel, Steve Ram Finance. If you're interested in growing wealth and personal finance, I'll pin a comment down below. You can click the link and go subscribe to that channel. I'm going to be getting up the third video here very soon as well to help out those interested in changing their financial situation. But right now, let's dive into the latest economic news. And before we do, if you could do me a quick favor, just takes a second, don't forget, smash that like button for the YouTube algorithm. Helps me out a ton, just takes a second. Thank you so much. Also, if you want to stay up to date, totally free to do so. All you got to do is hit the subscribe button, turn on that notification bell. And if you got any specific questions that you want me to answer, I'm easy to get a hold of directly. All you need to do is hop onto Instagram and shoot me a DM at SteveRam3. By far, best way to get a hold of me if you got any questions. But with that being said, you guys, let's go ahead and dive right in and get you caught up on the latest. Let's take a look at this interview with AOC on the future of Build Back Better.
Our Build Back Better plan is paid for. It doesn't increase the deficit. And maybe the best news of all, it will actually help alleviate inflation. The Build Back Better plan lowers prices for families and gets people working.
The president met with some of the nation's top CEOs today as he tries to salvage major components of his stalled agenda. Still with us, New York Congresswoman Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez. Congresswoman, what is your reaction when you hear some in your party, some in the media, already blaming the left for the midterms defeat that seems to be coming your party's way and for Biden's low approval ratings? What do you say to their argument that Joe Biden went too far left in his first year, he was too ambitious, or as your House colleague Abigail Spanberger has said, nobody elected him to be FDR?
Well, I think folks like that, what they don't want to admit is that Biden has governed pretty much exactly the way they have asked him to. But the problem is that the way they have asked him to govern has been to slow down, not do too much. And we are now seeing the political consequences of not directly improving people's lives quickly. And so, I can't really point, unfortunately, I can't point to any major move that President Biden.
I think we may have lost the Congresswoman there. We'll see if we can get her back. We're in such an important answer there, talking about Biden's. I want to hear what she was about to say. What move was she about to point to? Let's see if we can get her back. Otherwise, we will.
Can you hear me now?
I can hear you now.
Hello?
I can hear you now.
Okay.
Let's see if our viewers can hear.
Great.
You're back. You stopped at the most cryptic moment. You said, I can't point to one thing, and then you disappeared. So let's hear what that one thing was.
Well, here's the thing. I can't point to one major agenda where progressives or this so-called left sidelined the faction of the party in some dramatic fashion that can lead to this. I mean, the moderate end of the party has received everything that they have wanted from President Biden, including President Biden as the nominee himself. They got their president, they got their agenda, they got their sequence, they got their infrastructure plan with no BBB. They got all of it. And I can't really point to any real substantive or serious or intellectually rigorous argument as to anything that the progressive wing has done, aside from supporting President Biden, oftentimes more than the moderate wing of the party has, in a way that could lead to sinking poll numbers. There's just, when you don't change people's lives, people get upset. And we can improve people's lives. We can forgive student loan debt, and we can improve his poll numbers while we're at it.
Yeah, last time I checked, Joe Manchin and Kyrsten Sinema were not self-styled socialists. What do you want to see happen to Build Back Better now? Is it dead? Because last night, former Obama advisor David Plouffe told me on this show that the Dems now basically have to just give Manchin what he wants, put what he wants in it, lose the rest. If you have to break it into chunks, do it. But you pass it and you run on whatever gets passed in November. Do you agree with that strategy?
Well, the complication with that is that that's already been done with Build Back Better. Manchin issued really a laundry list of requests and demands and changes to what he wanted to Build Back Better. The first, that was the story of 2020. He wanted it decoupled. He wanted it shrunk. He wanted it changed. And he was essentially catered to throughout this entire process. The issue that we have is that every day, Senator Manchin wakes up, he has a different demand, and he wants to start over from scratch every single day. And so that is a quite difficult position to work with. This idea of just give him what he wants. He has been given everything that he wants. And so I believe that what the president, some avenues, not just the president, but the party, that we really need to explore what are the alternative measures to either bring Senator Manchin to the table, or how do we start exploring elements of Biden's agenda that can move forward without Senator Manchin.
And of course, Joe Manchin blocked his own voting rights bill last week, the bill that he wrote. He blocked it from going through. So a point taken. Last quick question. We're almost out of time, but I have to ask. You recently recovered from COVID after a trip to Florida. What did you make of the whole bizarre furore on the right from Republicans, from Fox, on your COVID diagnosis, and that you weren't wearing a mask on vacation outdoors, and you went on vacation to a red state, Florida? How dare you? You even had Governor Ron DeSantis' team trying to make hay with it.
Well, I mean, I can really tell you for sure how many of those Republicans fly into my airport and my district in New York City and LaGuardia Airport to come in and beg New Yorkers for money, and to come into my state, come into my district all the time, to grovel at the hands of their donors. As Florida goes, and Republicans do not own states just because they happen to have won a gubernatorial election. And not only that, but I can tell you that the people of Florida certainly seem very revved up and ready to go to organize for the 2022 midterm elections. And I'd be more than happy to return to the state of Florida to really help them organize.
So there you have it, you guys. Let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. That was Representative AOC on stimulus, Build Back Better, partying in Florida and catching the pandemic, and her response to that. But you guys, as more unfolds on all of this, know that I will keep you up to date here on the channel. And also, as I mentioned before, I'm keeping you up to date on city, county, and state stimulus checks that have been coming out. We've got word of more, and as they do, I'll be sure to let you know so that way you can know what's available to you at this time, not just on a federal level, but also on various local levels as well. And with that being said, you guys, thank you so much for joining me. I'll catch you in the next one. If you made it this far and you haven't already, don't forget, take a quick second to smash that like button. Helps out with the algorithm a ton. Thank you so much. Also, leave your thoughts. Share this out if you think it's going to help out other people. If this is your first time here and you like to stay up to date, totally free to do so. All you got to do is hit the subscribe button, turn on that notification bell, and if you got any specific questions for me, I'm easy to get a hold of directly. Hop on to Instagram, shoot me a DM at SteveRam3, and consider joining the second channel, Steve Ram Finance, to learn about growing wealth and personal finance. But with that being said, you guys, I'll catch you in the next one. Take care. God bless. This is Steve.